of what we talked about last week and then jump into doing some new moon intentions. So while I'm doing like this review piece, you'll probably want your birth chart. So you'll want to go into like a browser and search birth chart and put in your information and just get a birth chart ready. Okay. So we talked about colors and we talked about how you can use the name of the color to be able to get the vibration, and then be able to add your life path number to it, and also how that vibration could change and how you're working with the color if you add the word dark or the word light. And then we looked at hip hop, and we looked at, and this is crazy. I keep trying to like make this smaller, and it will only either make it like super small, like 50%, or like super big. So I don't know. Do you have a preference of big or small? I think those might be our only options. I don't know why. Oh, hi, baby love. Thank you for coming. So we got the life path number of hip hop, which is 39. And we talked about life path numbers and how they're the two different steps, like on the path. It's being on the path to be able to get to your outcome, which is your single digit life path number. I'm just doing a review. I figured I'd just do a review while you all chit chat. And then we'll do new moon intentions. And then we looked at, then we looked at for hip hop why I thought that the 6 was coming up, and it's because that 369 vibration is really important, and actually very powerful in building up energy. And so we talked about this 369 journaling, and I think I'm gonna I've used the 369 journaling before, but I think I'm going to use it for this new moon, because this new moon is super powerful. So the longer you can stay connected to it, the bigger the energy is going to be and the bigger your manifestations could be. So I think I'm going to use this technique with my new moon intentions. We'll see, because sometimes I write intentions that are like way too long because my Capricorn brain wants to just rule the world. And so I try and put the whole world into my intentions. Not good. So we'll see if I write one that's short enough to use this technique. But really all you're doing is you're getting your intention, and then you're writing it 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and then 9 times at night. And you usually will do this for at least 40 days. Or you could set it. So like if you're using it for the new moon, you could set it for when you expect to see some results with your new moon intentions. So then, we got this surprise, this excitement surprise, and where we saw when we added up, hip hop's name is 72. And then hip hop's life path number is 39. And when we add those together, we get the angel number 111. So that's pretty cool. That was cool. All right. Then we looked at Kendrick Lamar and looked at his name and his life path number. And we read through his life path number, and that was kind of crazy. And we could probably do more of that tomorrow. I don't have my book right here, but I'll have it ready tomorrow. Um, I'll go live again tomorrow, and we'll focus on hip hop tomorrow. Today, I just wanted us to be able to do some new moon stuff. Oh, and then we got our random number. Um, yeah, yeah. The numbers for Kendrick Lamar were scary accurate. They were. We might have to look at those again. um, but we got our random number of 540, and I've been collecting some. Mostly they're 54s, but we have. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. We'll see where we have seen this energy. So could go back and find some 54s or 540s where this number has come up, or if it's like love, also oracle or like prophecies being fulfilled, is the vibration of 54. Okay, I think that's all we did. Yeah, it is. All right, so let's do some new moon intentions. I was getting ready to do this by myself, and I was like, that's dumb. We just talked about this all together, so we should do it together. So here I am, doing live, late on a Friday. But it's okay, because it's new moon intentions, so it's fun. This is great. So today, for most of us, probably, I think all of us really. Um, Thank you, Tarot Gothis. I'm starting to greatly enjoy being live too, especially with this group. You make it a lot of fun. You have really good questions. Um, so today and probably more tomorrow because it's in the middle of the night. So it's at like the peak of this new moon, I think is like at 12:30 a.m. and that's like the Eastern Standard Time. Um so it's like the middle of the night of when it peaks, and usually you want to set your intentions within 8 hours of that peak. So whenever it's like at night, you can do it, your intentions before going to bed or in the morning. So I'm gonna do mine in the morning because I think I'm gonna start the 369 journaling with my intentions. Starting in the morning. Well, we're just kind of starting now, so I guess that counts. But this new moon is really special because, well, it's in Virgo, and that's not why it's special. I mean, I guess Virgo's special, but it's because it's at 0 degrees Virgo. And so today is when the sun is moving from Virgo into or no, it's moving from Leo into Virgo. So like at this exact time, like right around midnight is when the sun is moving into Virgo, and that's how it got to be right at this 0 degrees. And when it's 0 degrees, it means that it's like this, it's very pure energy. So if we think about how like we have all of these vibrations that are layering on top of each other, but in this case there's not any additional mixing, there's not any additional pieces that are coming into this Virgo energy, and so it's very, very pure. And I'm gonna say the word again, baby love. It's fertile ground. It's very fertile. So we want to plant some seeds, the right ones. because we know what happens when the wrong ones get planted. But that's a different topic for story time on a different day. But the first thing we want to think about is Virgo. So the energy of Virgo. So Virgo is very practical, analytical, um, and it's really going to be a lot. So it is analytical, it is practical, it is very strategic. But I think the thing that's going to be most important for these intentions in this new moon is its focus on health and wellness, because that seems to be a theme that people are really kind of leaning towards and needing right now. And so if we can use this energy to help promote that. So this could be mental health, physical health, psychological health. It could be health within yourself and self-care health, and it could be health within your relationships. So it could be all of those different areas. So that's the focus of Virgo energy. But then I wanted you to get your birth chart, because in your birth chart, you need to look and see what house is Virgo in. So it's the Virgo house, because typically Virgo is in the 6th house, but it changes based on your rising sign. So when your rising is in Aries, then that means all of the signs are in a different house. And so the house is the area of life. So we need to know what house we have, because that'll tell us the area of life that we should focus on, or focus our health and wellness on, for these intentions. So while you're looking that up, let me know in the chat what you have, and I can give you some more breakdown of what you could focus on based on the house. I'll tell you mine. So my Virgo, I have a Virgo. It starts, so like the 0 degrees is in the 2nd house, but it's only like 2 degrees in the 2nd house. So I'm going to focus my intentions on the 3rd house. And the 3rd house, oh, they decided to drill. Isn't that fun? I don't know if you can hear that, but it's so loud. It sounds so crazy. um, but the 3rd house is about communication. This is the house of communication. Communication. Oh, you did hear that? Yeah. They're drilling on the side of my freaking house right now. And I was gonna wait until they were done, and I was like, that's gonna be too late. Why aren't they done? It's Friday. Like, why didn't they finish early? Like, why are they still working? But whatever. Whatever. Anyway, anywho, and anyway, the 3rd house is communication and learning. So I need to have intentions. For real. For real, Tarot Gothis, they do need to go home. I'm going to focus on health and wellness within communication and learning for my intentions. What are you finding what houses you have? Some of the sites don't really help you either. I like using AstroSeek. is one, and then there's Astro Cafe or Cafe Astro. Those are ones that I use to get birth charts. AstroSeek is really good because it'll give you, you can get your birth chart there. You can get like your transit charts. You can get the synastry charts. Oh my gosh. They're like building a whole house on top of my house. Oh my gosh. That's so crazy. It's so distracting. Come on, I just want to write some intentions. Right. It's so crazy. Ooh, they better be glad it's not like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah, I would have lost it. I would have gone off. Good thing we healed those wounds. This could be a lot worse. Doesn't it sound? Can you hear that? It sounds like they're right, like they're drilling into my house. They may be drilling into my house, but I'm not gonna get up and check. Which one do you use? Oh, Astro Charts. Yeah, Astro Charts is a good one. I think Astro Charts is the one where you could save your chart and other people's charts to your dashboard. So then you could always like go back, and then you could get like the synastry chart, which is where you can put those are what you use to look at compatibility, like your compatibility with another person. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's free. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, what houses do you have for Virgo? Are you finding it? Is everybody like so into their chart? So, I think what we're gonna do. Yes! Isn't that crazy, Josh? It is not a drill, but it really is. It's seriously a drill. And what else can you do but laugh? Because it's pretty ridiculous. Okay, so you're Virgo rising tarot goddess, so that means you have Virgo in your first house. Is it does it start like in the middle of Virgo? Like where is the placement of it? Because it so that's good to know too. Okay, the 12th and the first. Okay, so if it's the 12th and the first house, then that means your 0 degrees is going to be in that 12th house. But if it's like mine, where it's mostly, if it's mostly in that first house, then that's the house you'll want to use. And so the first house is all about identity and I am. So you'll want to focus on, so like first house is I am energy. And so you'll want to focus your intentions on the health and wellness of your identity, of like who you authentically are. Oh, and I just got a notice that there's a volcano erupting because I get all those crazy notices because I like to know what vibrations I'm feeling. So that's happening. I'll probably report on it tomorrow. Starts at 8 degrees. Oh yeah. Then just focus on your first house. First house I am. And so what you do is you combine um Virgo and then your house to be able to write your intention. And we're going to write our intentions so that we can have goals for 2 weeks, for 6 months, and then all the way through this progression to the 2.5 year mark. Oh my gosh. They need to go home for real. Like, it's late in the day. I'm glad I'm not trying to take a nap. Like, being live is not much better, though. So, typically, what I try and do is I just play around with it. Um, where I always try and start with like a responsibility, or like a possessive phrase. So you could start with I am, or my, um to be able to own it. And then you would typically do, this is where you could first have either your Virgo, or I would usually do like the sign energy. So it's like the Virgo energy. So that's the energy. Yeah, that drill messed up my brain. So health and wellness. But this can also be like practical is another word that is used for Virgo. So it's like my practical whatever, or I am focused on my health, and then have the house, which will give you like the area of life. So this is typically how I write my intentions, and I just like play around with it until I find one that feels good, that feels right to me. And like I said, mine usually end up being like a whole ass book, because I just want to intend to manifest the rulership of the whole world. Yes. I have been accused of being Pinky and the Brain's brain. I'm the brain from Pinky and the Brain. But that's okay. Oh, I'm being too polite to the people drilling. Um, yeah, I was actually thinking about, because they're on the side of the house, so I could probably go out the front or the back door and like throw rocks at them and run. But I'm here. I'm here with you. So we're going to try and control that temper. So I think for me, I'm going to write something like, I'm going to leave this here for you all. But my, also, Virgo is like daily life. So you could also have it be something about your, like your routines and habits. Trying to give all the ideas. So I would probably say like my daily communication, or my daily, yeah, I think I'm gonna do daily communication. So I'm switching the house and the sign. Of course I would do that. What are you saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You see, I have those ideas of like going and throwing rocks, but to actually execute, um, Yeah, a few years ago, it would have already been done. Um, the rocks would have already been thrown, and if they didn't get the hint then it would have been like standing in the doorway staring at them, and every time they start the drill, just start screaming. But we're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. We're healed. Or healing. We're healing. Okay, so I'm gonna put my daily communication um uh manifest optimal wellness. What? Why did it do that? There we go. Because it said your handwriting is doo doo garbage, lady. So I think like an intention kind of like that is where I would start. So thinking about how to combine that, owning it, like making it my own, while thinking specifically about the Virgo energy and what Virgo represents, and then the house is the area of life, um, and how to be able to really utilize that. And this can always change. You'll see when we start like thinking about the goals that it'll become more refined, and we will be able to make it better. So how are you all doing? Getting some intentions? All right. So typically what I would do is then and I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to do it right now, but I'll tell you what I usually do. So usually what I would do is then I would take this start of the intention, and I would define things for myself, to see if I need to make it more fine tuned, or if I need to change it in any way so that it like feels right. So like I would think about like, well, what kind of daily communication, and daily communication with who? Um and what type of daily communication is going to actually bring in that energy that I want, and that will help me manifest this optimal wellness. And then also thinking about and defining what optimal wellness is for me. Because going to much of an extreme is not good. So either extreme is not good. So I don't, because my brain goes there. I would want to be like, oh, if I'm gonna for optimal wellness, then I'm gonna be like a tip top shape and be a weird bodybuilder with 0% body fat. But that's not healthy. That's actually really bad for you. So we're not gonna go there. Oh, combining your house. Okay. So for you, Tarot Gothis, because you have first house and Virgo. So it could be something like, I would actually use I am, because that is first house. So you actually have it easy, because you could just use I am healthy. Like that could seriously be your intention. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Josh. Mhm. Yeah. To be able, cuz it has to be super clear for you. It has to be super duper clear for you, so that um the energy has a clear path to come in, and you have it to work with. Yeah. So that's typically what I do is, yeah, I'll start with like a first statement. Um, yeah, my Capricorn brain likes process. It likes structure. But yeah, that's usually what I do is I'll start with one statement and then kind of work through it and make sure that I really understand it and that it's really true for me. Because if I can't envision it, if I can't make it true for me, then it's not gonna happen. Yeah, yeah, great. I'm glad you like it. Oh, good. I'm glad that helps, Tarot Gothis. Yeah, because you actually have it easy because I am is your first house, and then you could just add the Virgo in there. And so, first house is I am. It's around your identity, yourself. I probably won't get through all of them. So if there's one of the houses you want me to define, you could just let me know. But I'll get through. I think I could get through some. Let's see. So first house is like self identity. Second house is like your values, but also that's where your finances sit. So if you have financial goals, you look to your second house. Third house is that area of communication. Um, Fourth house is like family and comforts and close relationships. Fifth house is friends and like resources. So, like resources that you would get, like avenues of opportunities that you would get from people that aren't your family but are just outside of that. And then sixth house. Oh man, sixth house is usually Virgo. So that's daily life. So sixth house is like your routines and your habits, your daily life. I don't know if I could go any further. Seventh house. Yeah, I can. Seventh house is partnerships and like relationships. That's where you have that. Eighth house. Yeah, I don't remember. Eighth house is usually ruled by Scorpio. So I, oh, 10th house? 10th house is, I know that one because that's ruled by Capricorn. And that's your career or your profession. I always thought it was interesting that your career and your profession and finances are actually two different houses. So that's interesting, baby love, that you have 10th house of career. So it's like the healthy way you work is what you want your intentions to be. I think that's very accurate. Figuring out what the wellness, health, and wellness is in that working career space. Cool. Okay, so once we have like this kind of starting place, then like I said, you can kind of dig through it and make sure that you really can envision and define for yourself what are these parts of your intention. And then you can apply them to these cycles. So I think I put it here. Yeah, I did. I love my past self because she remembered to put stuff here for us. What are they doing now? I hopefully you can't hear that because they're not drilling anymore, but now it sounds like there's like a street sweeper out there. But they're not on the street. They're like the side of my house is like bushes. And it sounds like a big old vacuum or cleaner or something. Very strange. Okay, so our first set of goals that we can set are going to be for 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, September 7th. And really, what we want to focus on is that this is a full moon and it's an eclipse. So the full moon is always going to like illuminate. It like tells you more. It's where you get more information. So this is where you could actually fine tune your goals and like your intentions. So this is where you get more like light shed on the situation. So this is like more information. But also because this is an eclipse as well. Yeah, yeah. So the black moon is it's a particular new moon. So each of the new moons and the full moons have their own names. Um the black moon typically is about the new moon, but where I've heard it talked about quite often is when they talk about the story of Lilith, where Lilith was actually like the story I've heard about Lilith is that Lilith was actually the first woman who was formed just the same way as Adam was. um, but then she was too strong and independent, and so then Eve was created to replace Lilith. But Lilith is like the goddess of the dark moon. So, like, the goddesses really use a lot of the moon energy. And you'll notice, like, in a lot of the goddesses' explanations, like, usually in most mythologies and most religious texts, the moon is ruled by a female. So, by a goddess. So, using that goddess energy. But yeah, there's lots of stuff about the black moon and how magical it is and what kind of magic you can do under a black moon. Yeah, yeah, it's because it's a new moon. Most new moons are black moon. It's because the on a new moon, the sun and the moon are conjunct. They're at the exact same point at the exact same time, and so we can't see the moon. So it's the darkest time of the night, and we actually set intentions in the new moon because it's a time when we can create the vision for ourselves because we can't see. So most new moons are called black moon. Very magical. But really the moon is just magical. You just have to know how to use the energy at different points and different times. Yeah, I like that question. Fun stuff. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, no, I don't. I remembered. So, the full moon's going to illuminate, give you more information, but an eclipse does the same thing. An eclipse reveals. So, on the 7th, we have a lot of energy of like bringing things to light. So, like our goal for September 7th in 2 weeks, it can just be being open. So, like, my goal would probably be to be open to new ways of communicating. or new people to communicate with, but it'll still be towards that optimal health. And so then I can use this full moon eclipse energy to help reveal that for me. Help open that up and let me know like what really is happening. And then this should help me refine that intention even more. So then instead of it just being my daily communication, it could be my daily communication in these ways of communicating or with these people are going to help me manifest or will manifest optimal health or optimal wellness for me. And yes, your goal can be similar to mine. You could just take out communicating and put whatever your house is. But you could also, if you wanted to refine that Virgo energy, you could do that also. Or even the new moon energy, because like we were just talking about, where it's that black moon and it's like super fertile. It's like a blank slate to be able to put the vision. You could have your goal be to be open to a new vision or a new way of reaching your goal or your vision. So we could still have our intention, but it may be that in 2 weeks we'll want to refine our intention more. Because the goal is really, the overarching goal is to draw in this energy and help it to build up. So if you think about it, it's just like money is energy, and it's a simple example to be able to use, is like if you're buying something small, it's less money. And that's not all the time true nowadays because our whole economic system's really fucked up, but we'll talk about that a different day. But if you're buying something small, it's a smaller amount of money. Same thing, if you're trying to just manifest something small where it's like, all I want to do is to be able to find the time to clean my freaking house. Sometimes that doesn't feel small, but that's the only small thing I could think of. Then that requires a certain amount of energy so that, okay, I just need to build up enough energy so that I wake up one day and I just feel like cleaning and I have the energy to clean and I just get it done. Versus if I want to build up enough manifestation energy to like move into a brand new house, now that's going to require more. Just like if you wanted to buy a house versus just clean the house. Right, baby love? Every day. I want to be able to clean my house. But it is like, that's how you want to envision it, is that you're building it up. So every time, that's what that 369 journaling is doing. If we're taking our intention and we're putting it through that 369 system, where we're writing our intention 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night, you're building the energy around that intention so that you have enough to spend. So that you have enough to be able to manifest what you're manifesting. And it took me a long time to figure out, but when it did, it was like a true aha moment to be able to think about, that's why you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. Because if you do not have the energy built up, then you have nothing to give. And we actually physically feel that. That's how we get sick, is when we're using energy that we actually don't have to use. So, but there's lots of different ways we can build this energy. We could build it by repeating that intention. So sometimes I'll like put my intention on my mirror, or I'll put it on my computer, and so then every time I see it, I repeat it. It's because you're drawing the energy in, you're building the energy up. That's also where people will use things like crystal grids, journaling techniques, anything that is going to build up that energy so that you have it to be able to use. So here at this 2 weeks, we don't need a whole lot of energy for this. And so that's why the goal here can just be, I just need enough energy to be able to see things clearer. So we want to build up the energy over the 2 weeks towards that intention to be able to reach this goal at this time. Hopefully that makes sense. And then we can get a goal for 6 months. So this would be March 3rd, 2026. This is again when we have a full moon in Virgo, exactly. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Josh. You have a wonderful way of explaining this stuff. Thank you for sharing that with us, because that is the perfect way of thinking about it. Yeah, where you're creating this mental habit to be able to build it up, so that you have like that mental capacity, that energetic capacity to be able to have it manifest physically, or to do it physically. Yeah, that's a great way of thinking about it. Because you can also think about it just as like when you're eating more healthy foods, that's giving you more energy, more fuel to be able to do what you need to do each day. So if you get in the good habit of eating that good food regularly, now you're not only getting energy, but you're also healing your body. Yeah, that's a great way. Yep, that's a great way to think about it. So here, after 2 weeks, we reach this full moon. So if our goal here was just to be able to see better, now we get to this 6-month point, and it's okay, how much energy do we want to build up? Like, what can our goal be at this 6-month point? And this is especially important. Oh, I'm so glad, Josh. Thank you. I'm glad. So it's at this 6-month point that we're back in this Virgo energy. So we have another full moon. So again, this is giving you illumination. It's making things clearer. It's like putting a spotlight on it. But now we're back in this Virgo energy. And so we can focus in on this Virgo energy more again. So we can focus in on if we had daily in our intention, or we had health in our intention, or we had wellness in our intention. Oh my gosh, my ear, I'm so hot, my ear is sweating. It felt like there was a bug in there. I almost freaked out. I'm so glad you're here with me because that's the only thing that stopped me from like completely freaking out. But it's hot everywhere. Like, where is it cooler? I thought it was supposed to be getting cooler. I thought we were moving into fall. Anyway, back to what I was saying after I had that weird sweat bug. Um, so here we want to focus on the Virgo part again, but also getting more clear intentions. And so this is a 6-month goal. So this is a lot farther out. It's a lot, it's going to take a lot more energy to get there. And so then we could write our intention or write our goal more appropriately. So usually how I like to think about it is that we have one intention, or you could have like your couple intentions, but we have the intention, but at these different points, we have different goals that relate to that intention. Because if we don't change our intention, if we keep our intention general enough and we don't change it, now we get to like really have an opportunity to build up some really good energy. Oh my gosh, don't tell me that, baby love. It's so hot. Miserable. Okay, so if at this 2-week point, and I gotta go back and remember what I wrote. My goal was, to be open to new ways of communicating. So I was focusing more on the house, like on the area of life. So now I want to, in this time, the goal is to really focus on that optimal wellness or that optimal health or optimal. And I think I'm probably going to change it to be my intentions, like, because as I'm talking about it, it's making more sense to have it be more like optimal lifestyle or maybe healthy lifestyles to make it more Virgo. So you see how as we go through, I don't know if I even oh yeah, there's an L there. As you go through like this process, you can fine tune that intention. So I think healthy lifestyle is more kind of fitting. And so then that could be more of the Virgo. And so then my goal would be here to better see gaps in my lifestyle. Because then I could see kind of like where is it that I need to change up a little bit more to make it more healthy, especially around the communication. So I know for like myself, especially with communication, is I'm not only fine by myself, I a lot of times prefer to be by myself. I don't do a very good job of communicating or letting people know like how I'm feeling or what I'm dealing with, and so even if it's to be able to see how my communication is creating gaps in my lifestyle, where it's like, okay, if I don't have good communication, then I can't have like good friendships or good relationships with other people, which is absolutely needed for a healthy lifestyle. So that's what this goal would kind of be around, is like how now can I so over this 6-month period, I want to be able to better see and understand, because the third house also is learning. So it's communication, but also learning. So it could even change this to be learn, I'm going to cross this out. Learn more about healthy lifestyles, about my healthy lifestyle, you know? Yeah. So we just keep working it. Yes, exactly, Josh. Then we would have to now be able to define what that healthy lifestyle is, especially in that Virgo energy. Because if Virgo is about health and wellness, like what really is healthy? Because we have all of these, we're given these misconceptions all the time of what healthy is. Because the whole world has really jacked up standards and expectations of how we all should be. And so, really defining it for yourself is going to be super important. Yeah, good point. Very good point. So, do you see how, like, back here, this 2 week goal, maybe, this 2 week goal was just to help me be open to new ways of communicating or new people to communicate with. So that's it. Sometimes that feels like it requires a lot of energy, but it doesn't really require a lot of energy. But now here, I want to be able to actually start being able to take more action towards this healthy lifestyle using my communication skills, but also learning so that I can reach this intention. And you can also have a completely different intention. So you could have like 3 different intentions and have one intention be for 2 weeks. You could have another intention to be for 6 months. And you could have another intention to be for 2.5 years. But then you're splitting that energy. Now you're splitting the energy, and so you're not building it as much as you could potentially. Yeah. That isn't that crazy, Josh, that like stuff like Ozempic and even like so many of these pharmaceuticals are considered healthy. And even you look at any of like these health kicks where people are like, just eat spinach and eat nothing but spinach. Well, too much of anything is not good for you. And it's always shifting and it's throwing you all over the place of like, and then you don't even know what to do to be healthy. So yeah, we got to define what this health and wellness is for us. And this is the perfect time to do it because we've got all of, oh, you gotta say it with me, baby love. All of this fertile energy to plant lots of new seeds. New seeds of health. So I do like this. So I like that right now my 2 week goal would just to be able to be open and to kind of see new ways of communicating or new people, allowing new people in to communicate with, to work towards this healthy lifestyle. And then at this 6 month point, have it be more about like this active learning. So learning more about what my healthy lifestyle is, because in between this time, so I could in between this time, so in between today, August 22nd, all the way to when this is in March 3rd, I could be trying different things. So If I'm like, oh, it's healthy to go to the gym, then I could try going to the gym. Or it's healthy eating these foods. Or in my case, where I'm focusing on communication, I could say, all right, maybe it's healthy to have a hobby and have people to talk to about that hobby. Or maybe being able to be patient with the crazy construction workers outside is really going to help me be able to communicate better. So you could be trying different things to be able to reach this goal. So then at this point, you're really able to define if you've met that goal or not. And if you don't meet that goal, and really if you don't meet the 2-week goal or the 6-month goal, you're still good, because you could still roll this into these other intention spots. So we have a 2-week goal and we have a 6-month goal. And then we would have this big one. And this one, I like that it's split up more. So that you can get some more steps in there. Because if it's too far away, because this is 2.5 year, this right here, all of this is a 2.5 year goal. And I don't know about you, but I'd be forgetting what my intentions are and what my goal is, like, so quick. But if we build up this energy, or at least put it out into the universe, where we're planting that seed that this is what we want in 2.5 years, then it's actually kind of fun to be able to go back in your journal and see what actually manifested. And if it didn't manifest for you, where you could build up more of that energy. And there's probably lots of stuff that we're already doing that is building up the energy to help us manifest in this way. We just have to strategically and intentionally direct that energy there. So if right here, this the 2-week goal was to just be able to have clarity, and then the 6-month goal was to learn. Now we have this in 3 different steps. Now, the first thing I want to notice is that these are in progression, and so that you can use them together. So this is September 7th in 2 weeks, and then March 3rd, 2026, we don't get here until May 23rd, 2026. So we have lots of time and room to be able to build up this energy and make adjustments. So our new moon is to set our intentions. And that's really all we have to do at the new moon. We just have to set our intentions and then build up our energy towards that intention. So we have to be intentional in our intentions. Like, we have to say, all right, these are my intentions, and I choose to be attentive to that and at least try to build up the energy towards that. Hi, Judy. Glad you made it. We're writing new moon intentions because today is the new moon in Virgo. Glad you could make it. So the new moon is we're setting the intentions, and for those of you that just came in, we set our intentions based on Virgo energy, which is like health and wellness, but also whatever house your Virgo is in your natal chart. So you'll need to look where where Virgo is. For me, it's in the third house of communication and learning. So I actually, a lot of the times, only use this set, because it makes more sense to my brain. Because my Capricorn brain, whatever your sun is, that's actually how your mind works. It's not all of who you are. So your mind works like your sun, your emotions or your heart works like your moon, and then your rising keeps a balance between the two. I don't know. I like that. Thought I'd share. But I usually just use those four. So, like, my first step is the new moon to set intentions. And then the second step is the first quarter moon. And we looked at this picture, I think, before. Let me see. I don't think we have anything over here. Yeah. So I can draw this out. So we have, if we start with the new moon, that's, like Baby Love pointed out, is like the black moon, where it's the darkest moon. And then that goes to your first quarter moon, where it's like only half of it is covered. So that's where we see the moon, where it's only half covered. And then that goes to the full moon, which is completely bright. That's like the super duper bright one. And then you go to the last quarter moon, which is it's the opposite half that's covered, but it's still half covered. And then that goes back to your new moon. And so then that's the cycle, and that's the cycle we use to build up, like really build up all that energy we need to be able to manifest. So this is the new moon. This is the first quarter. This is the full. And then this is the last. So then when we look at these steps, so when we're going from the new moon to the first quarter moon, the first quarter moon is about taking action. And this could be like, I like to think of first quarter as my first step. But in between here, so going from here to here, this is when I'm building up the energy and the understanding to be able to take my first step. So I know, like, that's where I used to mess up, where I thought I had to do the action at the new moon. So I'm like trying to write intentions and like actually do stuff. No. Like, just setting your intentions is enough to plant that seed so it can begin to grow. So if you think about it actually as a seed, if you plant the seed underneath the dirt where it's dark, that's your new moon. Now, in between here, you are watering it, you're giving it sun, you're making sure that you're, pulling up the weeds or anything that could hurt it. So then the first time that it pokes through the ground, now that's like your first quarter. That's your first quarter moon. So the first action is just taking that first step, action out of the ground. So this is action. I'm trying not to get caught up in the chat because I just want to be in the chat. It's hard not being in the chat. But this is fun too. I actually really like this. So if we're setting our intentions, we're planting the seed at new moon, which is today. Then at the first quarter moon, we're taking our first step. And so the first quarter moon can have its own goal. And so the goal for the first quarter moon. So if I have my intention that I want to have all of my daily or my regular communications really help add to my healthy lifestyles, then maybe at the first quarter moon, this is when I'm like joining a support group, or I'm joining I don't know, like taking a class, because also it could be learning for my third house. Like this is when I'm signing up for the class. It's taking whatever that first step is towards that intention and that goal. But what I wanted you to see too is that this 2 week and the 6 month, it could help. It could be part of like the watering and the giving sun and taking care of that that intention like a seed. But it doesn't have to. Yeah, like I was talking about how you should have one intention, and then at each of those different points, you should have a goal towards that intention. But it's your intention that you can use in that 369 method. And so I'm probably going to use that 369 method for these intentions because I've done it before and it actually works really well. But it's using whatever you can to build up the energy. So like even if it's journaling every day, if it's it could also be like building a vision, so like actually visualizing around what your intention is, and then meditating on that every day. Also at this setting intentions time, you could build a vision board. I've done it sometimes where I've like made my lock screen on my phone just like 5 pictures that relate to my intention. Because really all it is you want to build that energy up consistently so that there's enough energy there to create what you want, to manifest what you want. But the 369 is a very easy way of doing that, and it's very helpful. Yeah, visuals are very helpful because you could even have like your lock phone. I've also had it where I for both me and my daughters, I've put like affirmations like on the mirror. So every time we're brushing our teeth or every time we're looking in the mirror, we're repeating those affirmations or at least seeing them, because that's building up the energy around that. So if you like visuals, finding a way to visualize, create a visual around your intention, and then making sure that you see it every day as much as you can, because that'll build up that energy. Yeah, this is fun. And it's really fun when you like start seeing it work. Even if it's just working in little ways. It's still fun. So if we have Our new moon is to set intentions, and then at our first quarter moon, that's when we want to take our first step. We want to take some kind of action towards our intention. And it doesn't even matter if you like later on are like, oops, that wasn't the right step. You can backtrack and you can do something different. Oh, I'm reading here. What you're saying, Judy. Let's see. Task. Yes. Um, yeah. It works better if you do it at the same time every day, but it's you write your intention or your affirmation 3 times in the morning. Um 6 times in the afternoon, and then 9 times at night. And if you do that at those regular times, because that makes it a routine, it makes it a habit that then builds up that energy even more. So that's why if it's the same time, it's actually more helpful in building up that energy. Because even just remembering to do it is drawing that energy into you and helping you hold on to it to put towards that vision. Good. I'm glad that makes sense. Good. So after we set the intentions and we have our first step, and I just want to make sure that these dates are clear. So today, August 22nd, is this new moon in Virgo. Our first quarter moon is not until May 23rd, 2026. So we have lots of time here to be able to figure out what that first step is, to build up the energy to be able to do it, to be able to take that first step and to try some stuff out. Like, it's that in between time where you could try stuff out and be like, yeah, this is not going to work. Or no, I don't like this. Like for me, if my goal and like my intention is around healthy communication that improves my lifestyle, if I am like, oh, I'm going to go join this book club, and then I get there and I don't like anybody that's there, and it makes me like not want to communicate, then I know that that's not a good fit for me. Or if I find, that, oh, I really like talking about this topic, then I can focus on that. So then our third step in this cycle is the full moon. And we already talked about 2 full moons, where the full moon is like bringing clarity. But this is, in this time, this is when you can pivot. Or like change course. Or double down on what is working. Or do more of what works. Because in the full moon is where you can see it very clearly. So that's why at this full moon time is now where you can see it very clearly, so you can see if you need to make an adjustment in what you're doing. So, I mean, that should reassure you that if this first step you take at the first quarter moon isn't right, you have time to change it. So you, in between here is when you could really be trying different things, taking different action, because the first quarter energy is really about taking action. That's how you draw that in. So then at the full moon, you can really reassess and understand if you want to change up how you're doing it. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, that's actually a very good question. So, um, if there's a method to like really the decision making, so like when you say like the decision making, you mean whether to take this first step or another first step or to pivot or to change. Um, that's a very good question. Like where you want to be in control, so it's not like somebody else is controlling where you're going. That's why I would, at the very beginning when I'm setting my intentions, making sure I'm defining for myself and that it feels good to me, defining for myself what feels good about those terms in my intentions. So if my intention is to build up routine, regular, daily communication that adds to my healthy lifestyle, having it be very clear that, okay, for me, having healthy, regular communication is going to be a lot about being around people that let me be who I am. That's how I'll know if that's the type of communication I want to have and if it's contributing to my healthy lifestyle. So being able to define that. So it's really about the definitions and keep coming back to that. But those definitions should also drive your vision. So if you create a vision of your intention, it's coming back to that. Because now you can see this doesn't fit in. This isn't going to be energy that's adding to this intention I'm trying to grow. Also, anything that is pulling the energy away is probably not good, because you're trying to build up the energy to be able to manifest. And so if something comes in and it's actually pulling that energy away, it's moving you farther away from your vision, farther away from your attention, then that's not good. Yeah, that's a really good point, Judy. Like, so making sure that you're writing it regularly and then reading it to yourself. That's why that 369 journaling technique is actually so powerful, because you're writing it with your own hand and you're saying it in your own voice in your head, and it's connected to your own vision. Yeah, that's a very good point. Mm-hmm. And this is also a really good way to start being able to hear and listen to your intuition, because the moon is all about intuition. That's really what that moon energy is. That's that, that feeling of like, this doesn't necessarily feel right. But then being able to dig in, because I know, like, for myself, I always have to stop and be like, okay, does this not feel right because of my own anxiety? Like my own traumas, my own experiences? Or does it not feel right for another reason? And then that's actually helping you towards better self-talk and really being able to use this self-talk for yourself to be able to build up. And just coming to groups like this, because you can ask those questions. When you find the right people, you can ask the questions of like, does this make sense to you? Does this feel right to you? Like, I'm concerned that I'm making the wrong decision. So that's part of it also. I hope that answered your question. So we have a while for this full moon. This full moon isn't until February 20th, 2027. So this is also why it's good. Like, I journal pretty regularly now. But when I was just starting to try and journal regularly, I was only journaling around these moons. Okay, great. I'm glad that was helpful, Josh. But like being able to journal around these times, it actually, and now because I've been journaling like daily or almost daily most of the time for about 5 years now. And so now it's really cool because now I'm finally to that point where I'm reaching like these 2.5 year goals, and I can go back and I can look. And so when I get to the full moon, so like I'll write about the new moon tonight, and I'll probably start doing 369 journaling with my intention tomorrow. And I'll do it for at least 40 days, if not longer. But then when I get to the first quarter moon and I'm trying to really think about what is this first step I need to take, what's the action that I can take, I can actually go back and look in my journal and remind myself. I like that I don't have to remember. And that actually is holding the energy for you, because if you're building up all of this energy, so it's one thing to build up all this energy, it's another thing to hold it so you can actually use it. It's like if you were going and you were putting, $1 worth of gas in your car every day. At some point, it's going to be able to build up, depending on how much you use every day. But that's a different math problem. We're not going to talk about that now. But if you have a hole in your gas can, or you have a hole in your gas tank, even if it's a small one, and you're putting that in every day, but you're losing it every day, then, everything you're doing is just wasting your time and your energy. So it's twofold. It's making sure that you have the routines and the techniques to be able to build up the energy so that you have that energy and those vibrations to be able to manifest, but then also to hold it. And a visual is a very good way of doing that. So visuals that you can see and keep being reminded. Journaling is a good one. Even if it's like you only write one page every day and it's just about how your day went. Also, I've seen people do like art crafts, where like if they crochet or knit or paint, they have like they do one row of crocheting for how they felt that day, and so then that builds up and they can see how their mood is being able to be changed. So all of those, there's lots of ways of like holding on to that energy, but you want to have both. You want to have ways of building that energy, and you want to have ways of holding it. And it actually can, like a technique can be both. Like journaling is both. It's drawing in the energy and it's holding it for you. Using a visual is drawing in the energy and it's holding it for you. Also, like, I've seen people use like crystal grids for their intentions. And we could talk about that sometimes, because I have some cool ways of amplifying your crystal grids to draw in your energy, and then be able to hold it there for you, and then direct it to where you want to manifest. Cool. And then we would finally get to this last quarter moon. Oh, before I do that, so you can have a goal for the full moon. So, like, your goal for your new moon is just to set the intention. It's just to say, this is my intention. And then the goal for your first quarter moon is, I'm just going to take this step. I'm just going to try these things. I'm going to focus on the action that goes with my intention. Then the goal for your full moon is to, like, gain understanding. Because to really be able to pivot or change course, or even to keep building up energy on what's working, you need to be able to know what that is. You need to have the information. So it's like understanding, or your goal could be like information gathering. And your information gathering can come from the actions you're taking. That's what could be happening here, is through the actions you're taking from this first quarter to the full moon. That can be gathering the information you need to know if you need to pivot or change, or what's working and what's not. Okay, so then we get to the last quarter. And your last quarter is your harvest. It's your completion point. And so this is at the point when you're reaping what you sowed. So if you sowed those intentions, now you're reaping the benefits of them. This is when the energy is manifest and it's coming to you. But this is also when you need to be aware of what needs to end. Because sometimes we hold on too tight. Like I've had vision boards that, like, it's the same vision board for like 15 years. And that's because those kind of things I have a really hard time throwing away. But it's probably not good. Because your vision should change. It should evolve. It should be able to be flexible enough to change with how you're changing and how you want your life to change. So the last quarter is also a really good time to just give yourself gratitude for the work that you've put in and for what you've received from that work. And then let it be done. Because after the last quarter, you get another new moon. And remember that all of these are in Virgo. So at any one time, we have 12 of these cycles with all of the zodiac signs happening at the same time. So when you get really good working with these energies, you could have multiple intentions going at the same time, and you could be really strategic in which new moons you actually are seeding really big intentions in. So like if you did want to have really big goals in health and wellness, then this new moon is the one to use because it's in Virgo. But if you wanted to have a very big goal, like something like starting your business, then maybe you want to use the new moon that's in Capricorn, which is more, or whatever sign is in your 10th house. So you can really be very strategic and intentional in how you're using these techniques and using this energy. And you could really build some very big things. I try and focus on positives, but I myself do like to be aware of both. Because if there's some negative things that are coming up at this last quarter space, then a lot of times that can be something that you could work on in the next cycle, or it's something that um, I might take to my therapist and be like, I don't know where this is coming from, but I need to do this. Also, if you're not able to manifest your intention, that could be some blocks in there, but that helps you bring awareness to what you need to work on. So all of it, whether it feels positive or negative, is going to help you on your journey and manifesting this life that you want to live. And we have to remember, like, I love the vibration. I love the numbers. And one of the reasons I love it so much is because they're all neutral. So it's based on your perspective. And my perspective, I have control over. So I have control over what life experiences I allow to come in and change my perspective. I have control over who are the people I allow to come in and make changes to my perspective. And so I get to choose. The only energy that we do not have a choice around is 0. And that's because it's God energy. But we also, that's neutral also. So we know if something negative is coming from that, it's us too. So we still are in control. Yeah, that's a really good question. So this last quarter moon, at the end of this 2.5-year mark, is November 21st, 2027. So I like to think, actually, I'm pretty confident in knowing that the people that are really good at like setting 1 year, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year goals and like actually making it are using these techniques and are potentially using the moons and the astrology to be able to do that. Because all this is just strategically using the energy around you to build up to manifest what you want. This was super fun. What questions do you have? Hopefully you got enough to be able to go and write your intention. So what I'm going to do tonight, and I'm going to declare it so that I will do it, is I'm going to fine tune my intention, get it written out so that I'm ready to start the 369 journaling tomorrow. But I'm also in that process of like fine tuning my intention. I'm going to get some of those definitions and make sure I understand my intention very well and what it means for me, and how I can visualize it. So that's my goal for tonight. I am going to start the 369 journaling technique tomorrow. So I'll keep you updated on how that goes. Yeah, and then we could check in. And I'm telling you, it actually is really fun to be able to go back and look at your journals and be like, hey, I did set that intention. And look, it is coming to pass. That's cool. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Tarot Gothis. Yes, that's wonderful. Good, Judy. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. This was wonderful. And so I will go live tomorrow. And tomorrow we will look at our random number, which was that 540. So we can talk about where in this last week we've seen that number. And we'll be focusing on hip hop. So I think it's just going to happen that like Fridays are when, Fridays or Sundays is when I'll come and just talk to you about like what vibrations I'm seeing and what's generally happening. And then Saturday will be our hip hop day. I'm actually really excited to start looking deeper at what's happening in hip hop, because I think we're going to find some more really interesting things. And this week was crazy. So much happened. So we have a lot to talk about tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. I'll hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. And next week, Friday. I think Fridays is a pretty good time to come live. But we'll see. Thank you so much. Please make sure on the way out that you hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.